By the way, in Egyptian, we only have the consonants. We know a little bit about the vowels from Coptic, even though they're debatable sometimes. We have a few vowels figured out by transliterations in other languages, but a lot of it is still quite unknown. So the Egyptian consonants for a verb meaning to pierce are T, K, and S. Tixo is the verb in Uto-Aztecan, to pierce or poke. KM is the verb to black or black and brown, any dark color. Kamom in Coptic, I think. Koma is the Uto-Aztecan word for being dark, gray, brown, black. Nami is the word for traveling or crossing something. The word in Uto-Aztecan for traveling, walking around. Nami for crossing an area or a river. Nami. Wanch or Wanish, whatever the vowels were. Coptic wonch. In Uto-Aztecan, oncio and oncia, the words for fox. Let's just pick out a few of each page. Like I say, there are about 1,000 of these. We're going to show you about 100 of them, or 150. And if you want all of them, they're in a book in the back. And by the title of this, if you want the whole story and you're interested in this kind of thing, you've got all the details in 110 pages back there. You've got anyway. We're just getting the tip of the iceberg here. Anyway, for example. Shim in Egyptian, the word for go or walk. Sima in Uto-Aztecan. Sabak, whatever the vowels were in Egyptian. Calf of the leg or lower leg. In Uto-Aztecan, Sipika, same three consonants. Calf of the leg, lower leg. Sabti in Coptic, sopt. Oh, by the way, Coptic is a later form of Egyptian that did put the vowels in. It existed about the time of Christ. Sapti in a Uto-Aztecan language, meaning fence or enclosure. Qabab or qabba in Egyptian, meaning cool, calm, quiet. Kopa, quiet and calm in Uto-Aztecan. Man is another one, ween, so forth. Let's go on to a bunch. Oh yes, now we're getting to something interesting. First I discovered the Kwa dialect of Hebrew. And then I started noticing that all the Egyptian similarities had B changing to P instead of to Kwa. For example, you have the Egyptian word for throat, babit, and in Uto-Aztecan, papi, okay? Identical, except for B's changing to P's. Same meaning. The Egyptian bashi is the verb to vomit or spit out. Bashu is a noun, a verbal noun, or the stuff. In Uto-Aztecan, it matches the noun, pisota, but again, everything matches the W with the O. So this is built on the noun form. Banti, or whatever the vowels were in Egyptian, piti in Uto-Aztecan, same thing with Shenabet. Shena is the Tibetan part. Bak and Puuchi, that has to be explained. Beat, the word for bee, pita, bee and wasp in Uto-Aztecan. In fact, we have to show you the rest of that line. Egyptian has article prefixes. For a feminine noun, you would have wa means a, b. Ta means the, so you'd put that on the front for meaning the bee. And na is the plural the in Egyptian, meaning the bees. So you have wa, ta, and na as prefixes to the word. And here we have in Uto-Aztecan, the Tarahumara language has three different variants for this word for bumblebee, napari and tapara and wapara. The para part is simply a vowel change. Since the last vowel is ah, it tends to change the vowels in front of it to ah. That happens real often in English and every other language. So pita becomes pata. Intervocalic T becomes R real often. We do that in English and a lot of other languages. So para is that word for bee, and it has those same three prefixes for a feminine noun. And in Egyptian, beat is a feminine noun. Boy, you can't get much better match than that. Oh yes, a few more. B, negative, beak, peak in Uto-Aztecan for hawk. Oh yes, we have to show you these. The word for lion in Egyptian, M, glottal stop, E, or Y, are the three consonants. Remember, glottal stop goes to W, and remember, E is the same as a Y, so you've got, in fact, in Coptic it's mui, the later form of Egyptian, that's what the vowels are. In Uto-Aztecan, it's mawiya. Shows all three consonants perfectly. Ta'it, a shroud or some kind of garment. Tawayish, in Luiseño, all three consonants perfectly matched, the glottal stop to W, the Y, and so forth, a cape-like garment. Ta is the Egyptian word for earth, T and a glottal stop. Tewa is the word for dirt and dust and sand and other kinds of things in Uto-Aztecan. Sa, the word for sun, so on and so forth. The word for old man in Egyptian, or being old, is, that's an I, by the way, it almost looks like an L. That's an I glottal stop W. Yo'o, you have the I to Y, the glottal stop showing with some rounding and the W and so forth. Means to be old in Uto-Aztecan. Oh, this is wonderful. Sabah. In Coptic, Coptic has already lost the B and the glottal stop of Egyptian. It only has S originally from the original Egyptian, whereas Uto-Aztecan has all three consonants still showing. But the glottal stop jumped from third consonant to second. So Sitpo is the word for star in Uto-Aztecan. And by the way, this is a consistent pattern, that glottal stop jumping ahead for certain words or kinds of vocalizations. In fact, I think we've got some more here. Let's see, it's not right here though. Oh golly, we're not going to have time to show you all this. I got to show you another page. And then we'll come to some conclusions here. Anyway, after I found all of these Egyptian words that, and the sound correspondence of Egyptian were a little bit different than what I had found for Hebrew. The tsa goes to so, and the, here they are, and the B to P and so forth. Then I started noticing lots of words in Uto-Aztecan as well where the Hebrew B corresponded to P. Here's a good list of them. The P dialect of Hebrew, for example, the word in Hebrew for lightning is barak. In Uto-Aztecan, perok. The word for house, bet. The word, or it also is a verb to spend the night. In Uto-Aztecan, pete. Means house, and pete as a verb also means to spend the night. Patach bitiwa. That's that pharyngeal H. Patach bitiwa, so forth. Po means coming. Or it also means the way in Hebrew. Po, identical in Uto-Aztecan for road path. This is good. Basar, to look, see. Basara, to open the eyes. Basirat in Arabic for eye. The Hebrew vowel would be bosi, which matches Uto-Aztecan pusi. So this is a bit strange, but it matches. We don't have that word in Hebrew per se. Word for daughter, bat. In Uto-Aztecan, pat, and so forth. Anyway, and several hundred other words showed me that there is also a P dialect of Hebrew in Uto-Aztecan. And it wasn't until I found all three of these that it dawned on me, I'm a little slow and dense at times, that, hey, here we have one dialect of Hebrew or Aramaic, like it actually has a lot of Aramaic leaning, this P dialect of Northwest Semitic, shall we call it. Aramaic and Hebrew are both part of the Northwest Semitic branch of Semitic. Anyway, we have a P dialect of Hebrew, and we have it matching Egyptian, and then we have a quad dialect of Hebrew, and then it comes to mind, of course, the union of Mulek, the Mulekites with the Nephites who are dealing with both Egyptian and Hebrew, uniting with the Mulekites, and it would appear on first glance, in fact there's a whole bunch of other evidence that I don't have time to show you, that this actually is a descendant of the language of Zarahemla, because you have all of them. Now, of course, like I say, I've run this privately past a few Uto-Aztecanists, PhDs in linguistics that I work with and that are non-LDS, and show them these similarities, and they're draw drops, and they are really quite overwhelmed with the number and the quality of the similarities. But it has not been published, so give me a little more time. I need to figure a few more things out and put some other things together first. But it's from the both LDS specialists, both Semitic specialists, LDS specialists, and non-LDS Semitic specialists and non-LDS Uto-Aztecanists. It seems to be a very strong case.